Hello, folks. I tried to make a video a few times, but it's very depressing, and I can't get through them because people like this person on screen try to marginalize and diminish other people's problems and oppression in society because their feelings disagree with them. It's taken its toll on me. Basically, is what I'm saying. So. I used to try and make videos once a week, but I can't really do that now based on like just continually doing this. It's people regurgitate other people's arguments, so that's just what they do. They regurgitate each other's opinions and feelings and use that as their justification for what they do in life. So people that Lawrence Southern opposes, people that do slut walks, that are part of the civil rights movement, that fight for equality, fight for better health care for women, and just different things like that. And she opposes it because she doesn't feel like they need that. She feels like everyone is equal. Her feelings tell her that there is no oppression. And the last video that I watched, in which she talks about white privilege on the channel Rebel Media, Lawrence Southern says that homophobia does not exist in America, which is blatantly false, because there is a big discussion, and one of the platforms for Republican is gay marriage and whether it is legal or not. That is a civil rights issue, and you're against it, and you don't even believe that homophobia exists in America, which is sad. This person, who is like 2 years in college, is going to talk about a discussion or a topic that she doesn't have an education or knowledge on. When she just recently took a women's study class, she went in there with the mindset of disrupting the classroom, of not listening to the other side and challenging her world beliefs, or getting knowledge on the opposition side, on what they had to say or what the class had to offer. She immediately came into there thinking that it was going to be against her own beliefs, that they were wrong, and that she was going to make fun of it. So with that in mind, you really have no credibility. Your bias has already been selected and shown through your old videos. And yet, you don't even have any education or knowledge on these subjects that you're talking about. So what's the point of making these videos about white privilege when you don't have any argument besides your feelings tell you that it doesn't exist? And your feelings also tell you that homophobia doesn't exist. It's not really a good response. It's not a good argument. You're regurgitating things that other people have said. I'll post a tweet that she put way back that shows some of the dumb things that she tweets online, and you can get a sort of grasp on the type of person that Lawrence Southern is. But she's not the type of person to actually go out there on her YouTube videos and promote any healthy discussions or to try and improve anybody's life. What she does is she rails against feminism, and that's her only cause in life. People like that, they don't care about other people. They try to sometimes make an argument about how feminists should be concerned about third world countries and the plights that those women have. Yet she never makes a single video about that. In fact, all of her videos are disparaging feminism. All of her videos on Rebel Media is against feminism. On her personal channel, that's all she does. On her Twitter, that's all she does. So she doesn't care about women's rights. She doesn't care about homophobia in America. She doesn't care about the privileges that white people have in America and believes it doesn't exist, which is amazing how people can still believe that. And yet, these people bring others down who are trying to help minorities, yet they don't care to help anybody. They disagree with people about how they help others and that they're not really helping anybody, yet they don't help anybody themselves, which is the main factor in this discussion that I wanted to have. People like Lawrence Southern and other anti-feminists don't care about other people's problems. They care about themselves. Um, they don't want to help other people. They want to help themselves. They want to promote themselves. They want to make a following based off an anti-feminism movement on YouTube. And that is why they support each other. That is why they reshare each other's stuff. That's why they stay in the same community. That's why they reshare, retweet, and post sources from based on Breitbart and other websites like that that have an obvious bias, yet they don't care. So I just find it disheartening to continue seeing people like this who only want to harm other movements and have no effect on the world and society around them and don't care to help anybody around them. If you don't think feminism is helping anybody, then why are you not helping anybody yourself? Why is it that I only see you attacking and demeaning feminists and social justice warriors for trying to help other people? Why is it that I don't see you doing anything yourselves to help people? Why is it that all of your videos are about feminists and how you think they're wrong based off your feelings? Why don't you have any videos about how we should help the people that have just had their families lost due to the attacks in France, or the growing problem with ISIS and how we should deal with that, or anything along that lines of how we should help people in society? Since you have a disagreement with how feminism helps whoever they're helping and that there is no white privilege or sexism in America, do you believe that the whole world is good? I don't understand. It's just disheartening to see that other people would rather harm other people and put other people down based off their feelings and do nothing to help the world around them. So anyway, that's just what I wanted to say. I'm quite tired of making videos on people like Lauren Southern who regurgitate the same things, who have no knowledge on society. They have not completed college. They're some 20-year-old brat who has never done a college course on the topics in which they are trying to criticize. They don't have knowledge or education on the topics they discuss on their channels. Yet they get hired by right-wing supported enterprises and companies and channels in which they perpetrate this propaganda, in which they put forth a narrative that feminism is not needed or that homophobia is not real. So I just have a hard time dealing with these things, mostly because I just see so much of it, and all I see is people regurgitating the same arguments. And they play the victim complex a lot, even though they complain about it. And in this video in particular, she goes on to explain how she was banned from a Facebook group. I'm just going to read it out so that people, if you can't see it, video quality should be good enough to see it. But I'm just going to read it out just to emphasize the points here. The person says, "This space is not a space for you to minimize the voices of those in marginalized groups." This is talking about Lauren Southern, who diminishes the voices of people who are minorities or who are marginalized by society. Versus a group that wants to raise the voices of those that are not heard in society as much. That is a very good thing to do, yet she disagrees with that. So I don't know why she would display this. It makes her look bad. It also doesn't have context of what her original comment was, so we don't know what she said beforehand. They continue to say, "It's not a space for you to expect an education from other members when you have literally the world's knowledge available to you." This is usually said to people who are part of Gamergate or who are sea-lioning, which is people asking for evidence or asking for anything like that when it's very easily available and obtainable to people. Apparently this is not in the context of evidence of anything. It is based on education, which she seems to be lacking, and is easily available to her with a simple Google search. And she's also going to university, so there's a lot of educational materials there that she could use. Unfortunately, she doesn't use any of those to back any of her arguments, and she also doesn't use it to educate her on any of the topics that she discusses. People do not want to sit there and educate you when you are stubborn and you refuse to listen to the materials that they give you. So it is very reasonable that this person is telling you this stuff. Yet she is complaining, whining, and crying to people on YouTube and Twitter about this. They go on to say, this is not a space for you to argue against people when they call out racism. That is a very reasonable thing to say. If somebody calls out racism, and you attempt to argue against it not being racist, that is not something that they want, obviously. There's many reasons for this. You being you would obviously see it as silencing you or against free speech. But I'm fairly certain that they explained this to you before, since they are tired of giving you educational materials talking about this. So it is pretty abnormal for you to enter a group in which they have a community set to talk about certain discussions and then not be familiar with those discussions. That's on you, Lauren. They go on to say, if you as a white person refuse to listen to the voices of people of color and people of other cultures, especially on the issue of their own oppression, then this space is not a space for you to be. This is talking about minorities, talking about the oppression that they receive in society. And Lauren Southern doesn't want to listen to those people. Wants to critique them and wants to put them down. This shows the type of personality and what Lauren Southern believes in. She doesn't care about those people, obviously. The person continues on to say, I'm no longer worried about sounding rude. I'm worried about the voices you are silencing. People do not feel comfortable talking in a space with a white privileged woman who is doubting and putting into question other people's experience about their oppression in society. If you need to know why that is, you can educate yourself. I'm not going to sit here and educate you when you are 20 years old and have access to a wide range of educational materials in your university and through the internet. It is just that simple. The fact that you don't even believe homophobia exists in America is proof that you are willfully ignorant of the world around you. Lauren Southern's response is, just because someone has a different sexuality than me, is a different skin color or gender, does not make their opinion any more right or valid. My skin color does not change that either. Disagreeing with people is not racism. You are trivializing a very serious word. The person did not say that what she said was racism. So this is pretty dumb of her to say. I don't know why she included that in there. She could have easily edited her comment or rethought what she was going to say. But instead, she put forward this screen cap to show how bad she argues with people and how she inserts herself into discussions, into communities that try and prop up the voices of those who are not heard and who are silenced and who are marginalized by society, and goes in there and diminishes their experiences and voices and puts them down. She is obviously not welcome in a community like that because she is doing the opposite of what that community is trying to do. She is thwarting their efforts to try and put up minorities and people who are oppressed. That is the type of person that Lauren Southern is. She goes in there, she goes into communities to disrupt them and put down people who are oppressed by society. She's done this before with slut walks, where she disagrees with them because she says that rapists are shunned by society, which has nothing to do with slut walks. She's also doing it to a few other things like that, and people are tired of educating her and tell her to just educate herself on the issue. And the only time that she decides to put any video evidence to anything is those times when people say that. It's very curious that the only time she decides to show anybody screen caps or videos of other people discussing things with her, it always includes something about her educating herself, and they're not going to continue to educate her on this because she continually does this type of stuff. She puts out propaganda in order to try and skew perceptions of people in society, and in particular, minorities. This is why somebody like Lauren Southern is a disgusting human being. She then goes on to put a fucking Tumblr post to talk about white tears. So this is where she gets her information from, based on the disagreements that she has with people in social justice communities and feminism. She literally disagrees with one person on Tumblr. Amazing. Anyway, hopefully I edit out the long periods of silence that I have in which I don't say anything. But anyway. Just want to end this by saying this is very depressing to see that this is how people in conservative groups, people that are part of Gamergate, decide to respond to issues of civil rights and oppression in the world. They decide to demonize and put down the voices of minorities, and that's just sad to see that that's the response that people have. They don't want to help others. They don't care about helping others. Their main cause in life is to make money based off of hurting and showing propaganda to misrepresent things like feminism and causes that should be pretty normal for people to agree with, such as, I don't know, more healthcare options for women, bringing up the voices of those that do not have a voice in society. But Lauren Southern doesn't care about those people. She only cares about herself. So that's what I wanted to say. I'm tired of the videos that I make. I'm tired of all of these people who put out the same video day after day, trying to put forth the narrative that only young people, privileged white males who are still in community college, are putting out. So I don't know what else to say to these people besides open up and actually have a discussion instead of defending yourself all the time. Stop feeling like it's bad to feel guilty, or that you feel guilty about white privilege or whatever. Just have a discussion about this instead of trying to prove yourself right or to put people down. Of course they don't listen to that because they don't care about helping others. They don't care about marginalized people. They don't care about the complicated discussion that is being had on the society and its effect on people like that. Because they're 20-year-old college kids that don't have any experience with any of these topics. So I'm just tired of talking about it. I'm not tired of talking. I'm tired of people putting through the same damn arguments every time. Half of it based off their fucking feelings. And that's all they have to say about the issue. So that's all I'm going to say.